everybody. Thank you for reading my article in this month's issue of Shutter Magazine. This month I wanted to talk about location scouting and how important it is to plan. That is the first part of the article, but it is the most important part. Everything we do as far as locations go, we have a very specific process, and every single part of the process is about planning. So the beginning of the process is the pre-planning stage, I guess, if you will. It's gathering all the information. So if I know we're going to Scotland, like next month we have 14 photo shoots lined up. We're going to Dublin, Northern Ireland, Isle of Skye in Scotland, Edinburgh, London, Paris, Iceland. Don't hate me, I'm sorry. Anyway, so I knew we were going to all these spots, and Sal's like, I want to shoot literally every day we're there. So my goal was to go to all those cities and find just cool areas that he might like. I know he likes architecture. I know he likes interesting nature, things that you can't find in St. Louis or really in the US. So that's the whole reason we're going over there, is to get these epic locations for our portfolio. So what I do is I'll research. Let's start with Dublin. So I'll get on Pinterest, I'll get on Google, and I'll just research interesting architecture Dublin, parks Dublin. And from there I start to get an idea. Like the big spots usually have a lot of pictures of the same picture. So you see something you like, you click on that picture, and more than likely it'll have some kind of tag. It'll tell you what it is. So then from there I start searching that specific thing. So I did that for everything. I came up with 3 to 5 different spots, different scenes, locations for each city that we were gonna be in. And from there I pitched that to Sal. So I do all the legwork in the beginning, then I pitch the concept to Sal. And that's when I'll roll in the models, the wardrobe, and everything. So everything kind of all ties together. And I've talked about this in previous articles about your formula, your location, your model, your thing being the wardrobe for us, because we don't really have a thing necessarily while we're traveling. So we have about 30 dresses that we have packed for this trip, because we're gonna be driving throughout Scotland, throughout Ireland, all these locations. And it's just kind of common sense to understand that when you're driving for 5 hours in a beautiful country like these are, we're gonna stop. We're gonna see something along the way. Sal's gonna be like, Taylor, get out and model. So yes, we have 14 photo shoots lined up, but I'm going to guess we're gonna come back with at least 20, just based on the different scenery we see along the way. So that's part of the pre-planning. That's gathering everything before you present your ideas. So from there, when he says, yes, I want location 1, 2, and 3 of the ones you presented to me, from there I go in and I map it. Google Maps is incredible. So Google Maps not only tells you your distance from point A to point B, it tells you what tolls there will be along the way. You have the option to select or check a box that can have the route avoid tolls, avoid ferries, avoid interstates. So if you don't want to take the interstate from point A to point B, and you want to take all those back roads and see all those amazing locations, Google Maps is your friend. Also with Google Maps is Street View, which is incredibly, incredibly beneficial for us. So what I'll do is I'll take the location that I know we're going into, plug it into Google Maps. It'll show me the spot on the map, and then I pull it into Street View. Because a lot of times, which is crazy, a lot of times we've run into this issue where you pull it up on Google Maps, you see the images everywhere online, but when you pull it up in Google Maps, you do the Street View, it's not there. It actually doesn't exist anymore, like an old building that's been torn down or something like that. So that's part of being realistic. Another part of being realistic is your drive time between locations. And lunch. These are all little things you would never really think of, but when you're planning a full day of shooting, you have to be realistic about your time. Are you in a big city like San Francisco with Lenny and Melissa's wedding that I talked about in this article? You know, we knew we wanted to go to these 3 locations on the day of their wedding, but we also knew we were in San Francisco. So Google Maps tells you it's a 10-minute drive from point A to point B. Realistically, with traffic in San Francisco, we allowed at least 30 minutes between the 2 locations. So I hope this helps. Get out there, try things with the locations. Just start Googling things. Pinterest is actually a really, really helpful tool. Actually, real quick, before I forget, something I didn't talk about was Google, I think it's panoramio.com. It's incredible because you can plug in a location, look at a picture, find a picture you like, click on it. That picture will show you exactly where it was taken from. So on a map, you'll see a line and a dot, and that dot shows you where the person was standing when they took the picture. So if you want that perspective, it's really cool. It also gives you the coordinates of the exact location. So if you can't find that location on Google Maps, you just go to Panoramio, plug in the coordinates. it's cake. So anyway, I hope this helped you guys. I hope you guys can get out there and get creative, really push yourself to find locations that you wouldn't normally try to find. The tools are out there, very easy to use. So I'll talk to you in a future month.